Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andy, and welcome to this week's Team Kentucky Update. This week's update is going to be special, especially right at the end when we're going to get to recognize some people who've truly lived out our faith and values that have been that good Samaritan. And because of their work, there's somebody who is still alive and with us today. But we're going to start where we always start, with good news for our economy here in Kentucky. Since the beginning of my administration, we have now announced more than 1,200 private sector expansions or relocations with a record $36 billion in new investments and the creation of a record 62,000 jobs. And tonight, I'll highlight a few projects that are contributing to the records. Last week, we announced yet will establish a new Kentucky home as Meridian Biotech will open a facility right here in Franklin. This is part of a partnership with Buffalo Trace Distillery to convert distilled grains into multi-use proteins. The project includes a $40 million investment and will create up to 35 tech well-paying jobs. This will be the first biotech company to locate in Valley and will include a partnership with the Kentucky State University to offer internships with engineering department. I'm proud to welcome Meridian to Frankfort. This investment not only brings quality jobs and strengthens our economic future, but also opens exciting new pathways for Kentucky's iconic bourbon industry. It's partnerships like this where we can honor our tradition while embracing transformation. Today, we have Meridian's president, Brandon Corris, joining us. Brandon, would you like to come up and say a few words? Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Morning. It's been an exciting week for us at Meridian Biotech as we officially announce a project that represents years of innovation, collaboration, and hard work. Today, we're proud to share that we are partnering with Buffalo Trace Distillery on a groundbreaking project right here in Frankfort, Kentucky. More than just a facility and how we think ability and economic growth. By taking bourbon distilleries, we are repurposing them into value-added products. We are proving that innovation in biotech can go hand in hand with tradition and heritage. Meridian is building something that not only creates new opportunities in our industry, but strengthens the local economy and highlights Kentucky as a leader in both advanced manufacturing and biotech. This collaboration is turning vision into action, and it wouldn't be possible without an incredible team on both sides who work tirelessly to make it a reality. I want to thank Harlan Wheatley and his incredible team over at Buffalo Trace. We have enjoyed working alongside people who share our passion for innovation and sustainability. I especially take a moment to thank Governor Beshear. Governor, under your leadership, you and your administration's unwavering support for projects that Kentucky's economy and highlight our state as an innovation has been invaluable. I also want to take a time to thank many people who work behind the scenes, Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development, Mayor Lane Wilkerson, Judge Mueller, and Penny Peevler. Without their support every step of the way, this project would not be moving forward. So we're proud to invest in Kentucky's future. Governor, you have our pledge that we will be providing a positive force for the community as we in our business, creating high-paying jobs for our fellow Kentuckians. Together, we're proving that Kentucky is not just leading in tradition, but leading in innovation. Thank you.
Thank you. We're excited to have you on.
Thank you.
So with Meridian, we're getting a new high-tech company, but today we're also celebrating the expansion of an existing high-tech employer. This week, we highlighted further growth of Alta, which announced an expansion of its operation investment. The nearly $4.6 million investment will create up to 10 new full-time jobs. The expansion is supported by a $2.34 million award from the U.S. Department of Product Expansion Program. New facility will produce biological fertilizers and crop reduce chemical inputs. Kentucky manufacturing have momentum. We continue to see global companies like Alltech, employer in now for 45 years, invest. So today we have Alltech's Vice President, Dr. Steve Boyle, speak about this project.
Pocket and started what is now the Alltech company. And we're extremely passionate about Kentucky. We're continuing to invest. This is an example of our investment to continually invest in the state that we are very passionate about and very, very supportive of as an organization. I think this grant, Governor, it's really exciting. I'd like to say bipartisan support for this grant brings jobs, brings manufacturing jobs here in the state, and also decreases dependency on, supply chain challenges and also international conflicts. And I think that's a testament to the government really wanting to support here around where we are going with this industry. As far as farming is concerned, we're very passionate about farmers, passionate about this area in agriculture, and are just really excited to be able to announce this today, and would welcome you at the groundbreaking whenever we start the expansion. So with that, I just again want to say thank you to the governor, thank you to everyone that has really supported this opportunity. It's taken some time to get through, but we're really excited to be announcing that today, and thank you again. Really appreciate it, Governor. Thank you.
And thanks again to the Lyons family and Alltech, which has been a great Kentucky employer that's just grown over time. We also announced this week continued momentum in our manufacturing and metals industries. Alta Alloys, LLC, a specialty processor of titanium, nickel, and other alloys, is relocating their headquarters and expanding operations with a new facility in Simpson County. The $20 million investment is going to create 45 new Kentucky jobs. The investment includes the acquisition of an existing building, construction of a separate building on the project site, and the addition of several large pieces of processing equipment. Construction at the site is currently ongoing, with operations expected to begin in the first half of 2026. This is going to be another great addition to the Simpson County community. They have welcomed so many new jobs over the last 5 years. They work really hard to bring in these opportunities. So I want to thank all of the local officials for their work in making this happen. I want to thank Alta Alloys, and I look forward to their future success in their new Kentucky home. Okay, today we've got some more good news as we put Kentucky in the best financial position we can be in to make sure our kids and grandkids have the opportunities they deserve. The 2024-2025 fiscal year has ended with a general fund surplus of $313.5 million. Of that amount, $251.3 million will be deposited in the Budget Reserve Trust Fund, and the remaining $62.1 million will fund necessary government expenses like responding to natural disasters, matching funds for FEMA disaster grants, and forest fire suppression. The surplus was made up of $131 million of revenue more than budgeted, so we had a projected amount of revenue, and we beat that this year. But we, as an executive branch, also spent $147 million less than budgeted, meaning we made sure we treated the taxpayer money the way it should be treated. And then we received $35 million in FEMA reimbursements. I'm proud to say that we've secured a surplus every year I've been in office. We also had a road fund surplus of $61.6 million, and all those funds will support the biennial highway construction program. I think we've proven that we can be fiscally responsible, secure some of the largest surpluses in history while still making it easier for families to pay the bills. As governor, I am laser focused on bringing down costs because too many families are struggling. It's why we've been able to lower income taxes and property tax rate and help families secure more money through the homestead tax exemption. At the same time, we've received 3 credit rating agency increases. That's from Moody's, S&P, and Fitch. And we're building that new Kentucky home where everyone can thrive. That's really good news on the budget this year. I will go ahead and put out a note that it's going to be a lot tougher in the coming budget based on what we're seeing and based on the lowering of the income tax, meaning less revenue will be coming in. Next, we've got some good news for those affected by severe storms this spring. On Tuesday night, Donald Trump called me to say he personally approved public assistance for counties affected by the April flooding and the May tornadoes. And last night, we got the good news that even more counties were added. Now, all counties we requested have support in the public assistance program. The support is essential for the communities to rebuild, that we don't see counties or city governments bankrupted by a natural disaster that just inflicts so much damage. So I'm grateful to the President and Secretary Noem. I also told the President that the FEMA team members on the ground after each of these natural disasters are doing great work for Kentuckians. In public assistance for April, we now have 90 counties approved based on the president's action, and those were for severe storms, straight line winds, tornadoes, flooding, landslides, and mudslides. Those occurred on April 2nd. And for the severe storms, straight line winds, and tornadoes on May 16th to 17th, 39 counties have been approved for public assistance, but this is a game changer for Laurel and Pulaski County, each of which had so much damage there was no way that the county would be able to cover it. We also have an update on the May storm registration deadline. It has been extended to August 22nd, 2025. On those tornadoes, so far FEMA has approved over $2.6 million, which they have dispersed in individual assistance and $1.29 million in other needs assistance. I'd remind everybody, because those numbers are so different than floods, that typically your homeowner's insurance will cover damage caused by a tornado, but not a flood. And so you have to go through that process first before getting extra FEMA assistance. So we expect to see those numbers grow. Right now, we are sheltering 30 households still from the May tornado event. 7 are in hotels. 23 are in travel trailers. 56 families have transitioned out. That means they have found more stable housing. That's a good thing. And I think we will likely be placing 2 more families, because sometimes you go and for the first number of months stay with family, but that can get tough. And so you look for an intermediate housing solution, and that's what we offer as a state. Laurel County debris contractors collected more than 19,000 tons of debris. The county is also waiting on NRCS to approve waterway work. The estimated damages there are more than just the waterway work, $2 million. The City of London is handling debris removal activities within the city-maintained properties. To highlight the importance of public assistance funds from FEMA following natural disasters, just yesterday, we broke ground in Floyd County on another high ground community. These are the communities that we are building above the floodplain, many on abandoned coal mines, to where the folks of Eastern Kentucky will never flood again. I've talked to far too many families. I talked to one yesterday in Wayland that had lost her home in one flood, lost her trailer in another flood, but now has a house outside of the floodplain that is affordable and where she feels safe. Floyd County was hit in 2021, 2022, and twice in 2025. 2022 was absolutely devastating to Floyd County in terms of loss of life and loss of property. Team Kentucky's invested $10 million in this New Hope Estates site. It's going to build 34 homes. And all the homes are outside the floodplain. I got to meet Claudette, a retired beautician whose home was flooded in 2022. And soon, this is her in the blue shirt, and soon she will have her forever home. From there, I went to Wayland, because this New Hope is the hope. And we broke ground, and that's the progress. But people need to see the proof. And this Wayland site is a completed high ground site. 14 homes fully finished and each of which has families that were impacted by the flood living in them. They've become their own community. The town of Wayland, the mayor, county judge for Floyd County has embraced them, knows everybody's name up and down the road. This was our first completed high ground project. It was followed by the cottages at Thompson Branch. Construction is going gangbusters at Skyview, where we will build hundreds of homes. In Chestnut Ridge, we got the utilities up to the foundations property. They're going to start building first, and we're going to follow right after them. So I hope that folks that have been hit with the worst know that this lady who I got to talk to has gotten the best. She's there with her mom, both safe, getting together again for family dinners. I mean, she's restoring her life. And she talked about how a home is a lot more than four walls. It's a place where people make those memories. We're going to keep rebuilding, and we're going to make sure every family, every single one, gets back up on their feet. In continuing to rebuild from natural disasters, we've got good news today on CDBG funding that's going to help us build more housing. One step is that we've already announced was a joint project with the Kentucky Housing Corporation, which I announced last June. This was for tornado survivors from 2022, where we're investing $223 million to build 953 rental units across Western Kentucky. It's the single largest housing project we have ever announced. Even before the tornadoes, many of these communities lacked affordable housing, particularly Bowling Green. Now we're seeing the work come to life. In fact, just last week, we had team members in Bowling Green to break ground on Echo Trail Apartments. That complex is going to be the site of 256 rental homes. As part of that project, Team Kentucky invested nearly $12 million. The homes are expected to be completed by June of 2026. What was so special about this is it had never been done this way before. And it was an innovative solution to a problem where most of the time FEMA dollars or even HUD dollars can't go into rental units. And so many people are going to need to rent that can't own. So I am really appreciative, especially of the folks from Team Kentucky and the Housing Corporation that got together and figured out a way. We also have a few more housing announcements to make. For the city of Franklin and Simpson County, we're committing $1 million to help build 6 new affordable homes. It's part of the Franklin Affordable Housing Organization's Dixon Grove Development Project, which is going to add 69 rental homes in total. For the city of Newport, we're committing $1 million to help build 5 homes. Happy to partner with my friend Mayor Gaduli on this one. And in Pulaski County, we're committing $540,000 to help the county purchase 86 affordable apartment units. This will preserve affordable housing for the Kentuckians living there now and for the senior citizens in the county. So congratulations to those communities. A quick update on our GED success. You know, from day one, I committed to running an education first administration. And that's why we've renovated and rebuilt career and technical education centers, and why we're pushing so hard for pre-K for all 4-year-olds across Kentucky, because every child deserves a good start. But it's also why we've worked to ensure GED testing is accessible to every Kentuckian that wants it. So in 2022, we removed the number one barrier that people said was the reason that they weren't taking their GED. That's when we waived the testing fee for first-time test takers. And this year, we have taken our GED testing on the road to reach areas across the Commonwealth without a permanent testing location. I'm proud to say it's paying off. Since January of 2020, 25,269 Kentuckians, or 99% of all Kentucky GED test takers, have taken advantage of the free GED promo. With a state GED pass rate of 78%, Kentucky is beating the national average. Just last year, 3,106 Kentuckians earned their GED. And so far in 2025, we've had 3,161 test takers that have used this program to take the GED. All 4 parts of the test, it normally costs $144. You know, to some, that might not seem like a lot, but it was thousands of Kentuckians that weren't taking the GED because of it. It is a very tiny fraction of any overall state budget, and the way it's lifting people up is really special. So we have a video from Brandy Cook to talk about the difference this initiative has made in her life.
My name is Brandy Cook, and this is my story reimagined. I spent most of my early life abusing drugs and alcohol. When I was incarcerated, I didn't see my kids. I knew it was time for me to make a change. Kentucky adult education gave me the opportunity to learn a new skill. Like, my job is to help people, and I know that now. Today, I have my kids back, and they're doing amazing. Through Kentucky adult education, you can reimagine your story too. Find a new you in your new Kentucky home.
And finally, something I've been looking forward to for a number of days. We get to recognize this week's team, Kentucky All-Stars. In recent weeks, we've been through some tough times as a Commonwealth, yet there are still so many Kentuckians that remind us of the good that is in this world. This week's Team Kentucky All-Stars are Jimmy Alexander, Jessica Alexander, Taylor Hall, and Adam Arnold. Come on up. You each exemplify goodness. Commissioner, why don't you join us? Jimmy, Jessica, Taylor, and Adam, on July 13th, came to the aid of State Trooper Jude Ramillion, who was shot in the leg at the Bluegrass Airport while protecting our Lexington community. That's when Jimmy, Jessica, Taylor, and Adam stepped in. Jessica and Taylor are mom and daughter nurses. They jumped into action, applying pressure and a tourniquet to Trooper Ramillion's leg to stop the bleeding, and that saved his life. Jimmy, Jessica's husband, and Adam, an officer with the airport police, they thought fast, using the trooper's own radio to call for help and alert KSP that one of their own was down. Jimmy, Jessica, Taylor, and Adam, y'all saved a life. You jumped into action without a second thought, and you showed the world the best of Kentucky. That's why today I'm not only naming each of you this week's Team Kentucky All-Stars, but I'm going to present you with the highest honor that I can as governor. Today, you are all becoming Kentucky Colonels. So thank you for acting quickly. Thank you for saving a life. And if you'll let me, I'm going to make each of you a colonel now. All right, Adam, congratulations, Colonel. And Jimmy, congratulations, Colonel. Jessica, congratulations, Colonel.
Thank you.
And Taylor, congratulations. Thank you for your work. To each of them, thank you. Thank you to be the first responders. Thank you to so many who saved lives that day and supported law enforcement heroes. I also have a quick update on Trooper Ramillion. He's recovering well from his surgeries, but he and his loved ones have a long road ahead. That's why the Kentucky State Police Foundation is asking for your help. On the screen, you will see the foundation's Facebook page, where you will find a link to donate to the trooper's family and support his recovery. Trooper Ramillion, know that Team Kentucky will continue to stand with you each and every day. Let's thank these good Samaritans. Thank you. Now I'm going to take some questions where you don't want to be standing up here with me. Well, that's the end of this week's Team Kentucky update. There's no update next week, so we'll see you Thursday, August 7th at 12:30. As always, we'll continue to showcase all the great things that makes Kentucky special on our YouTube channel and other social media. With that, we'll open it up to questions. I think we have 4 journalists signed up to ask questions in studio and 3 remotely. We'll start with Karen Czar.
Governor, what are the questions that you are weighing for a presidential run? And if you're willing to share, what conversations have you had with your family? When do you anticipate making a decision?
Yeah, so right now, I'm simply trying to be a reasonable voice of common sense, common ground, and getting things done. And while I'm trying to be that voice out there, and people may think it's a voice for Democrats, I just hope every political party can come together. We can end this us versus them. We can stop this anger politics and find a way to heal and to move forward together. Next year, I'm head of the Democratic Governors Association. And so that will be my primary obligation after spending every moment being governor and moving this Commonwealth forward. And then after that, we'll see. You know, if I am a candidate that can heal this country, then it's something I'll consider. If someone else is that candidate, they'll have my support. All right, Phil.
Governor, your national profile is increasing. Vogue magazine South Carolina.
Who would ever thought I'd be in Vogue magazine? That was not on my bingo card.
Just what is your reaction to that? Are you seeking out those opportunities? Are people coming to you?
These opportunities have come to us, but what I love about it is it's telling Kentucky's story. I mean, the first question that people ask is, how is a Kentucky governor in Vogue magazine? And the answer is what we've done together. It's breaking every economic development record that's out there. It's having the best 3-year average for wages. It's breaking our tourism record 3 straight years in a row. It's seeing jobs come to places that haven't seen them in long enough. And I think it's having a state where the temperature has been turned down, where neighbors aren't yelling at neighbors like in many other places. And so I think when people see what's happening in Kentucky right now, they see some hope, some hope for a better future, hope beyond the conflict. And if I can share what we've done, which is way bigger than me, this is all of Kentucky with the rest of the country, that makes me pretty proud. And to see that really for the first time in my lifetime, people are looking up to us instead of looking down on us, that makes me real proud to be governor of Kentucky. Carolina.
Governor, when you spoke on the phone with the president, did he offer any explanation as to why it took as long as it did to approve this federal aid? And in your experience, did this take longer than it has in the past?
This aid took longer than it has in the recent past, which is all I can speak to, the last 5.5 years. And he didn't offer any explanation, but I didn't ask for it either. These dollars are absolutely critical. They're coming in. I'm nothing but appreciative and grateful to the president and Secretary Noem for agreeing to it. We're still trying to determine whether it's a specific dollar amount or it's the regular 75% of coverage. But either way, it's a big help to these counties. He was very positive on the phone. I told him his FEMA people were doing a really good job on the ground because it's true. I understand that I go out there and when a policy from this president is hurting Kentuckians, I criticize it, but I can only have credibility when I also admit that a part of this federal government is doing a good job and the FEMA group on the ground is doing a really good job. Austin.
Thank you, Governor. I've got 2 questions. The first one's about the very tragic situation in Moorhead over the weekend, the murder of a 15-year-old boy. We saw Louisville drop its sanctuary city policies somewhat in response to that. I'm just wondering, do you agree with their decision to do so? And then my second question is about the call of President Trump. He's somebody who consumes the news a lot. He's probably seen your face on television in the 2028 sort of speculation. Did you guys talk about anything other than emergency assistance?
Oh, we had a good, positive conversation that was only about emergency assistance, but he was nothing but polite and positive, and I was nothing but polite and positive. This was a big call that we really needed. I didn't know others were getting calls, but I'm glad they are. We need this public assistance after major natural disasters. Hopefully this becomes their full and regular policy. It may be that they were looking at what they were going to do in the future. I've at least seen a memo that talks about snowstorms and whether or not they'll be covered in the future. I hope they are, just because of the massive amount of damage that it does. And then the other questions about the Louisville change in the Louisville jail. So this is about detainers of prisoners or inmates and how long the detainer is for ICE. Louisville had the shortest detainer in the state, shorter than we as a state have. Their change has brought them more in line with everybody else's practice. But remember, this isn't a broader statement on different immigration efforts out there. It's just when this federal agency contacts you and you have someone in custody, how much time you give them to decide if they're going to take action. I think the mayor and the city was under extensive pressure, but let me say, I don't think that they were ever a sanctuary city. I think that those criteria weren't close to met, and I was asked to opine on that as Attorney General several times. I think they were faced with little choice, and they're now in line with the rest of the state. Okay, on the line we have Tom Latek from Kentucky Today.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning to you. I've got a question on the public assistance approval. This is not only for the state and local governments, but I believe some nonprofits as well. How do these entities apply for these benefits?
Yeah, we have a person in our EOC that is our direct connection to nonprofits, work with them. The Red Cross is in our EOC, local and national, when we have a natural disaster. And so they track all of that and work together. And so if there is a nonprofit that isn't a part of that direct connection, they can reach out to our Emergency Operations Center and we can talk with them about what is or what isn't available. Liam from the Kentucky Lantern.
Hi, Governor. I know you mentioned you were in Ford County yesterday for the groundbreaking. Some nonprofit housing builders in Eastern Kentucky I've spoken with, have expressed some concern about the Trump administration's budget proposal for HUD, which would, significantly cut funding for Kentucky, including eliminating the Home Investment Partnership Program and Community Development Block Grants, that program as well. I was wondering, given your appearances and your work with the higher ground communities in this boom of nonprofit housing building development in Eastern Kentucky, how you view the Trump administration's budget proposals specifically for housing funds in light of the work that nonprofit housing builders are trying to do in Eastern Kentucky.
I have significant concerns. I have significant concerns with the impact of this and other policies, especially on rural America. You look at this, and we already have a housing crisis all across the Commonwealth and the country. Rural communities are hit just like urban communities, but oftentimes don't have the same resources. And so this proposed budget will disproportionately hurt us. It's the same thing from that big, ugly bill, which threatens rural hospitals more than it does urban hospitals. That's going to lay off healthcare workers and hit people, especially in rural America. Same true for the SNAP cuts that are out there that are going to hit our farmers, along with a number of other policy changes, as well as more people going to bed hungry or waking up hungry. And I'm not speaking out because I'm a Democratic governor and he's a Republican president. My job's to be the best governor I can of Kentucky. And these policies, I mean, they don't lift people up. They kick people while they're down. And they've been previous policies of Republican and Democratic presidents and their administrations. These have been bipartisan funded programs that have helped us move forward, that recognize that to lift somebody up and to help them be productive, they need to be healthy. They need to have options on affordable housing. We expect everybody to do their part, but these programs, again, have never been partisan up until now. So my hope is we can get back to saying the most important things in life, like your job, your next doctor's appointment, the roads and bridges you drive each day, the school you drop your kids off at, and whether you feel safe in your community aren't partisan at all. And we need to make sure that we're using common sense, we're finding common ground, and we're moving forward on each and every one of those areas. And finally, Isaiah from WHAS.
Thank you, Governor. Back on the president's public assistance approval, I noticed that it was announced on the same day that the mayor announced those detainer changes. Was Donald Trump's decision contingent on Louisville getting in line with federal immigration guidelines? No, not from my understanding, not at all. This was a decision that the president had made. You saw it in other places as well. We've been pushing for a while. Oh, I should also say thank you to our federal delegation. They made calls. They pushed. They deserve a lot of credit. This is something we've always worked really well on, and I mean the entire delegation, to my knowledge, has really worked behind the scenes and sometimes even in front of the camera, which I guess can be challenging right now in Washington to help make this happen. This was done in multiple states. I hope that it is a permanent shift, because without this funding and without a strong FEMA, there are certain communities that would just never rebound.
Okay, thank you all for being here. We'll see you in 2 weeks. We saw proof today that the parable of the Good Samaritan and the instruction to go and do likewise is still alive, is happening in our communities. Pretty special to recognize people that saved a very important life. Thank you.